Well, good morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning here at the Hotel Orloff. Almost 7 a.m. Already had breakfast, showered, just got out of the shower. I haven't buttoned my shirt correctly. Watching cartoons. You're all... Just a moment. Let me button this correctly. I thought something was amiss. Okay, we're ready now. Let me show you what I'm up to this morning. Because I've got to tell you in the first couple of minutes, or the YouTube algorithm will not recommend this video because they won't know what it's about. So I have to explicitly state, we're going to be looking at some books today. Books, scholarly books about comic books. What I did was I moved these bookshelves around the other night and I actually filmed it. And I thought it would be an interesting video to put up on YouTube, but it turned out to be... I don't think you would have enjoyed watching me move these bookcases because I'd have to move the books off the shelves and put them over there so I could move the bookcases. And as soon as I made a stack of books, well, the cats were attracted to that. So it's mainly me telling the cats to stay away from the books and me moving. You don't want to watch me moving things, trust me, because that's when I start to sound a little bit like my father when he was doing things like that. There might be okay, hold on. Man, gotta adjust this camera here. Okay, so I am going to be on Monday. I'm going to have my right eye cataract removed. Yeah. And then the next week I'm going to go in and have this one worked on. I'm just so happy. Oh my gosh, I love surgery. But I've gotten to the point where I don't even know why I'm wearing these. They do absolutely nothing. I take them off, put them on, things look about the same. So it gets to the point where the prescription doesn't even function anymore. It's something that apparently happens to everybody if they get old enough. But most people are about 5 years or at least more older than me before. But, anyway, you don't give a shit about that. I'm sorry, you don't give a darn. Or remember back in the 90s, I don't give a care. I don't give a care. Well, that was the most ridiculous. That's almost as bad as people that say, it is what it is. Lose my voice. Okay, so what I did is I pulled the books down, and then I moved the bookshelves, then I put the books back. And sometimes I didn't put them back in the exact same place in my frantic quest to keep the cats from damaging the books. So I've got to reorganize some of these books, and I want to pull some of these books out that aren't comic book related, move them up to a bookshelf down upstairs, and then because I want to bring in some books that reprint, those PS Art books that reprint 1950s pre-code horror. I want to have them down here with this stuff, have that all together. So that's what we're going to do. So let's try to get things together by theme. First thing I see is this book that I got, I believe, in first or second grade. Fantastic book. Album of Dinosaurs. When was this book first put out? I think it predates when oh boy, copyright 72, first printing 1972. I have a first printing, so that's when this book first came out. So I kept it in pretty good shape for a second grader. I would have to congratulate myself. But I think, let's see, I measured with my arm. Yeah, this would fit on the shelf upstairs. So I'm going to take this book upstairs so that I can, yeah, because it's not a comic book. So let me put this over here. This is a beloved book from when I mean, what second grade boy doesn't love dinosaurs? And this has spectacular paintings. See, I would have thought this was a book from the 50s originally. But no, it's actually from 1972. So the world hadn't completely gone to pot in 72. And in fact, in the 80s, they were already making fun of the 70s, you know, making fun of the decade of have a nice day and the smiley face and everything. But I thought back, you know, I really like the smiley face, you know, which is what brought in the decade of the 70s. I remember my brother at his high school, they were selling smiley face stickers, I guess as a fundraiser for the band or something. But he'd bring little sheets of smiley face stickers. This must have been about 1970 when my dad was stationed in Germany. He was going to a Heidelberg High School. It's an American school there on the Army base. And it was, and I love those smiley faces and all the music they make fun of from the 70s, you know, Billy, Don't Be a Hero. And see, the cat's already trying to lick my album of dinosaurs. And Seasons in the Sun, you know, it's like people want to laugh at that, but it's sure a lot better than the music of today. I don't even know what the music of today is. I have no idea. I know everyone seems to love Taylor Swift. But how she's not compared to Patsy Cline and Karen Carpenter, is she just why is that woman a trillionaire? I don't know, but you didn't come here to hear me grumble about that kind of stuff. But 70s weren't that bad, really, looking back on it. At least the beginning of the 70s, you had the Monster Times and Famous Monsters was still there, and Castle of Frankenstein was still there. It seems like when Atlas Comics went under, seems like around the bicentennial or around 1977, comics started to decline, and then they got that barcode on the front cover, and it's like, ugh, and then the direct distribution, and then these really crummy comics that were made directly for the comic shops with more adult themes that didn't belong, I don't think, in comics. And then by the 80s, things were declining, and then by the 90s, it was just, yeah. Okay, so this book will go upstairs. Okay. Now this Vampirella book, seems like I should have this with my other Vampirella books on the other side of the shelf here. This is came out from Dynamite in first printing 2013. Anyway, it reprints the first how many issues of Vampirella. And I mean, it doesn't reprint the entire issues, it just reprints the Vampirella stories. So if you're a completist, you'd still need to get all those issues. I don't know, but it goes. Anyway, it you know, the original magazines are in black and white. This is slightly smaller. This is more. This would fit in a comic book box. It's the size of a comic book. Well, let me leave that here for a little bit. That's from 2013. Now this came out during the actual run of Vampirella. Look at this, man. You talk about the 1970s being great. Don't miss an issue of creepy, eerie Vampirella. Warren's Triple Threat. Can't read backwards. Triple Threat Trio. And not to mention that they had famous monsters of filmland as well. And so this reprints the stories in color. And this came out probably about 1972, I would think. This is pretty sought after now. I don't know. I think it is. Don't get me lying. I mean, because I'm not out there seeking it, because I've owned it for decades, so I don't really look to see what the price is, because I'm not an investor. Oh, it was printed in Spain. Entire contents copyrighted 1971, 73, 77. This must have come out in 77, and the stuff in it is from those 3 years. Incredible. This is cool. One time I went to a used bookstore. Oh shit, Earthworm Jim is starting. I gotta stop my recording. I've already shown you what I'm about to show you multiple times, but I'll show it to you again, because I'm like that uncle that just keeps telling, or granddad that keeps telling you the same stories over and over again. And but a lot of you, I'm noticing my YouTube statistics. I don't have many returning viewers. It's mainly new viewers. I'm not sure how that happened. Unless YouTube is recommending me to people, which would seem very unlikely. Okay, so I was recording Space Ghost, which I don't know why, because I think I have the entire series on DVD. It's the latest delivery to the Mystic Object of the Month Club. At last, this is mine. Well, we might get a little bit of snow today, but it's not going to be anything consequential. And there's going to be a Christmas parade tonight that's going to start right outside my house. It's like everything's going to be lined up right there. So that would be a bad time to have a medical emergency or something, which isn't going to happen, but I don't want to jinx myself. But Saturday morning comic show. Oh, this is Night Tiger's show. He's been doing Saturday and Sunday shows where he shows comic books. I'll have to watch that when I finish this. Let's see. Find some other cartoons to finish this disc up with. Okay. Let's record the Suffragettes. Let's see how long this is. This is a band of today that's good, but they're basically, are they a band of today when they're doing 60s style surf music? I think they just finished their tour. They're basically a female Ventures out of Canada. All right, we're gonna have that playing in the background. Okay, so I'm in this used bookstore waiting. It's right next to the Department of Motor Vehicles. I might have been renewing my driver's license. I don't know. But I go in this bookstore. I remember sometimes it would have paperback Doc Savages and, the pulp reprints from the 70s and 60s. Sometimes some Robert E. Howard books. But I've always liked old yearbooks, high school yearbooks, college yearbooks. because they it's the way to really see the time period. And of course, I love the past, and I like to see everything from the hairstyles to the everything, you know. And this, I saw this. Here's an old yearbook, right? 1955. It's the Westerner, right? So then I open it up. I need to move you guys. Okay. This stupid hippie, when we moved into the house, they said, you need to burn sage in your house to purify the evils, but it never happened. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Could I call that person a hippie? Maybe just an idiot. But anyway, it's all right. Everyone has their right to be an idiot. Anyway, this is inside the interior of the. Everything's messed up. I hate that you're seeing everything messed up back there. Everything piled up. But anyway, I'll get it organized later. All the signatures from people, right? And then, oh my gosh, it's the Lubbock High School yearbook. And 1955, what do you immediately think of when you think of Lubbock in the 50s? If you know anything about music, you think of Buddy Holly. So I think, is Buddy Holly in this yearbook? And this is really awkward. How do I show you books? Maybe I need to move the chair a bit. I gotta make sure no cat is under this chair, because they like to go under this chair and destroy it from underneath. Okay, maybe that, I don't know if that's gonna help at all. Okay, I don't know. Well, anyway, you look in the back. Boy, my vision has gotten bad. Well, I don't know if he was a sophomore or what, but anyway, it doesn't matter. I'll find him. Buddy Holly's in here. The members of his band are in here. Buddy Holly's girlfriend's in here. It doesn't have his signature. This was a younger, I think it's a younger kid that did not know Buddy Holly. Let's find, let's see, those are the W's. Anyway, what is this worth? I don't know. What would you think? $150? Maybe more than that. But it was like $20. I didn't have the money. This was years ago. Years ago. In fact, I remember telling my mother, I said, man, could you loan me 20, or maybe it was 25. I don't know. Is it written in there? Yeah, it's $25. I see the price written here. I said, I just found something. It's worth a lot of money. I'm never going to find another one. Could you just loan me? She was a little reluctant. But anyway, obviously she did, because I have the book. It's not like anyone else would have bought it, but come on, man. This is what kids looked like back then. Interesting. Class of 55. Buddy Holly would probably be class of 55, don't you think? H. But anyway, I don't know why this is here. This could be upstairs, I guess. Oh, there he is. It's like he wasn't framed right, because it's like he's real low in the picture there. Man, look at that guy. That guy. I shouldn't laugh at people, man. Oh my gosh. That girl is the wife of that guy. Just kidding. I don't have no idea. Buddy Holly, what does it say about him? Holly is actually spelled Holley. He dropped the E. Musicians Guild in 53. SOS 53, Corollaires 53, Westernaires 54, Wrangler 53, Vic number 95, 54, 55 VP. Okay, so there's a cool picture in here of the ads in the back of yearbooks are pretty cool. I'd like to find some yearbooks from local yearbooks from where I'm living because there are ads for my house in the back because this for a while in the 50s and 60s was a funeral home, and so I can see the exterior of my house from back then, and it's like the blah 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 funeral home. Okay, look at this, the Heidi Ho Drive-In. Buddy Holly played on the roof of that place. Can you imagine? He was up there on the roof, and the kids were down there in the parking lot looking up, watching him. You imagine that? Imagine if you had film of that. But that's all lost to history, and wouldn't be surprised if every kid that was in the crowd is no longer on this mortal coil. So, but it's true. And you heard it here first on the Grottu Orloff show. Okay, what is this? Oh, it's a Doctor Strange book. That's kind of weird because I just got the first issue of Doctor Strange from the 70s. Not the first appearance of Doctor Strange, but Doctor Strange #1, and from Kevin at Gotham City Comics. And this was the cover image, but this has been painted. This is a painted version of that cover. So this is Doctor Strange Epic Collection. And maybe this reprints that run. No, well, it starts with Doctor Strange 180, it looks like. And okay, yeah, and it goes through Marvel Premiere and maybe. Oh, I remember that one is probably that's the first issue of Doctor Strange I ever bought as a kid, issue 4. Bought it off the newsstand at the PX in San Antonio. So, yeah. See, I didn't even know I owned this. Here's the issue I just got from Kevin, reprinted in here. So I would say that this is like a great way to get these epic collections. I'd like to get more of these because this is like a really nice, it's not like an omnibus that's like a gigantic Bible, that weighs 40 pounds. And yeah, I mean, literally, they're ridiculously big books. They're unwieldy. They're not comfortable to read. But this is a manageable book to read, and it reprints long runs of Doctor Strange. I have a lot of these issues in the original form, but this is a really nice format. And this is it says volume 3. That means they must have had all the Steve Ditko ones and Marie Severin ones and the previous 2 volumes, which would be great to get. This. Oh shit. This apparently cost $44.99. Man, I didn't pay that much. That's a lot of money for a softcover book. But this came out during Biden's presidency, not to disparage that wonderful, and he wasn't really in charge. We know that. He was just some crook that they had enough on that they could prop up as a puppet, and while they did all their nefarious things, and he wouldn't object because he was too stupid and too much of a criminal to say anything, and also too senile. Let's see. Not to be political or anything. When did this come out, man? I can't read a thing. But it came out during COVID. I'm pretty positive of that. Wow. If I have any other epic editions, I'll need to put that with them, man. I don't know what the... Okay, this book could go upstairs. This is not comic related. Famous Fighters of the Second World War. This is the type of book that, you check out at your school library and then draw pictures of. That's what I imagine most boys would have done. Okay. Oh, there's more Marvel things down there. Oh, this book I could pull. The Idiot's Guide to Classical Mythology. These can be fun to read. But I'm going to take that book upstairs. In Agata de Vida, they're playing. That's should be in the Garden of Eden, baby. But it sounds really good to say in Agata de Vida. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Okay. Starfleet, space flight chronology. Did this come out after the first movie? I'm thinking it did. Like pictures of these Star Trek craft. It's basically, it's not really a book you read. It's just like little imaginative paintings of ships and they have the years. Oh, here, 2020. Let's see what. Do you remember that spacecraft from 2007? Let's see what's going on here. In 2019 to 2055, okay, that was in the series. Is that the one that Khan was on? I don't know. Let's see what year this came out. 1980. So this is right after. In fact, of course it is, because look, that's the Enterprise as it was revised for the movie. Okay. Excuse me. What is that? Oh, it's Flaming Carrot Comics. This was a good comic. I'm surprised no one's ever made this into an animated series or something, but Flaming Carrot, this is the collected album number 2. What else do we have here? Just looking for things that aren't comic books. Here's the Amok catalog. Amok was a bookstore in, I would imagine, San Francisco, but it could be Los Angeles. Let's see. Where was this at? Los Angeles, California. This is their catalog. And the books that they carry, well, They have a whole section on Philip K. Dick, and this is in their pulp section. But they have the whole section of occult books. The people in the books about like true crime, the people that put this book store together are probably not people you'd really want to hang out with. They're into, well, in some ways they have interesting taste. In some ways you can just kind of tell they're probably Satan worshipers. And here there's a book about how to read Donald Duck, the hidden meaning behind the Donald Duck comics. This is a. It's like there were bookstores, like in Dallas, they had Forbidden Books. It was run by a friend of mine, Jason Cohen. Bookstores that would sell weird books, and the newer trend is to have these oddities stores, like antique stores that sell curiosities, like dead mermaids that were used in carnivals, that have a dead fish grafted with a mummified or a fake paper mache mummified monkey torso and head that's supposed to be a dead mummified mermaid and stuff like that. Those kind of stores, you know. Okay, wonderful. Man, what was this? Was he supposed to be the emperor, or I forget what he was, the imperious leader in Battlestar Galactica? Let's see what he looks like under the robe. There he is. That's what he looks like. So you ever see one of these? And they didn't show this guy, I don't think, I think he was only in the pilot episode of Battlestar Galactica. He was like the guy that was in charge of all the Cylon robots, right? I don't know. I think I don't even remember, man. It's like they were. It's kind of like they were a bunch of lizards that were controlling these robots, and maybe they were dying out, and the robots were continuing their fight against the humans, and the humans were on the run, trying to come to Earth. And it was all this biblical allegory from Glenn A. Larson. It was, I think a lot of Battlestar Galactica came from Mormon theology, is what an old friend of mine told me. Okay. Dennis the Menace, Star Trek. Okay, yeah. Here's a book that's kind of like a magazine. It's like super thin. I don't know, man. It cost $6.95. I must have bought this in the late '70s at Lone Star Comics. I imagine it's a fan made thing. But you know, like that would you could make a good T-shirt out of that image there. You know, if you got rid of the word story and you got rid of the word the, and it just said EC Comics and had that's the Vault Keeper, right? Yeah, he's the host for the Vault of Horror. James Van Hise, let's see, 1987. Yeah, well, it wasn't the '70s, but and let's see what we got here. And again, that would make a great T-shirt design I'm sure that's already been done. This is just filled with great T-shirt or poster imagery, or you know, if you photocopy from this, you could make great coloring pages that would, this would be a great coloring page to give Maybe not. Let's see. It's really just very, there's not much in here, but it's beautiful artwork. And there's their article on shock suspense stories. This guy thinks his wife has been wearing a mask, and she's saying, I never wore a mask. Oh my God. That's supposedly what Hillary Clinton did to some, well, I won't say anything. But there are these rumors that there's a video of Hillary Clinton pulling a face off of an individual. There's the old witch. Not Hillary Clinton, although she is an old witch. Oh, here's the Crypt Keeper. That's the way he looks in the comics. On HBO, they had a corpse puppet, but the EC War comics. Far better than Roy Lichtenstein, these panels. Yeah, they really would show the, Harvey Kurtzman would really show the horrors of war. This, that some war comics would. There was a war comic in the early 50s during the Korean War called G.I. Joe, and it wasn't related to the G.I. Joe, the Man of Action that came out in 1965, the giant, the big G.I. Joes that for my era, and it wasn't related to little G.I. Joes of your era. It was just G.I. Joe, which was an expression from World War II, just meant the average guy, Anyway, this G.I. Joe in this Korean War comic had beautiful painted covers, and he always had a flower in his helmet. But he would have so much fun just killing dozens of communist soldiers, and it was like he was a high school football hero, and he just had a big smile on his face, and he's clubbing people, and it was kind of teaching kids war is a lot of fun. Look at how G.I. Joe's having the time of his life. But in the EC comics, Harvey Kurtzman, first of all, he researched the wars, the different wars. Surfer jets are over. I better go pause it. Hold on. Okay, the pause is up here. Okay, put on some Warner Brothers cartoons from the 30s, black and white cartoons. Okay. Well, I could pull this book out, Rock and Roll Generation. Take that upstairs. This isn't comic related, although, in a way, isn't it? My theory is that kid culture is all part of a big whole. It's monolithic. It's when you, and that's what I've always collected is kid culture. Saying I collect comic books, yeah, I do, but that's only part of it. Uh, I like monster stuff, monster movies. I like memorabilia. I like toys. I like bubblegum cards. I like almost everything that a kid would have been into, dinosaurs. And from the mid-century era, from the and early 20th century up through the, when did things stop becoming, maybe in the 90s? There's still good things made today. Comics, there's still not many, but there's good toys being made, a lot of them, but they're made in small numbers and they're only available in comic stores, and they're sold to people my age or a little bit younger. Kids don't really want toys anymore. They want electronics. They still play, but they play in a virtual video game world. They don't play with physical. Most of them don't. Maybe. I don't know. What do I know? Okay. All right. There's some heritage catalogs. Is that what these are? I think so. Damn. These heritage catalogs were like $50, and they're really nice books. It would be because they're showing what's up for auction, and it's all color because people are going to be spending thousands of dollars in some cases on these paintings. So they need. Oh, I can't show you some of these pinups, but like a picture, this portrait of John F. Kennedy. That's wonder what that sold for. They're estimating $9,000 and up. It's going to go for. Man, that's just a lot of stuff that was paperback covers, and this one seems to have more pinup art than most, but this just seems to be where most of the big stuff is sold, is through heritage auctions. Like an issue of Film Fun, there's the actual original painting. There can't be many of those that survive. Take that up. Well, should I leave that here? It is comic related, but I think I'll take it up. This friend of mine knew the people that ran heritage galleries, and he got a creature from the Black Lagoon window card from the original release of the movie, and he was afraid that he got it from eBay. He was afraid that it had been retouched. He thought the colors didn't look right on it. So he went with I was in the car with him. He said, we're going to Heritage Auction. So we went up in this elevator in this big fancy building in Dallas, and we went in there, and one of the guys that he knew that was one of the experts there at Heritage said, no, this is authentic, Tom. This is an authentic. But he said it just doesn't look right. And I don't know, it might have been a just difference in the printing, like some comic book covers, the colors look a little bit different because it's different it went through the printing press at a different time in the press printing run, and maybe the colors were a little off, or some of the colors were running a little dry. I don't know, but it did look like there was something a little funny and off on the window card. In fact, this is interesting. Oh my God. This here is the original painting. And there's my friend's name. He owned this painting by Reynold Brown, who it's for the 1959 movie Monster on the Campus. That was, and you can see how the actors' names are pasted on, but that's that original painting. So this is in this. Apparently, he was selling this through Heritage, and it's estimated that it's going to sell for $25,000 to $30,000. So that's. I remember he bought a bunch of Reynold Brown paintings all at the same time, and I think the only one he had left at the end was Tarantula, the poster painting for the movie Tarantula. But I remember seeing he had framed The Creature Walks Among. Oh, what was The Creature Walks Among Us was the name of the title, right? Yeah, he had that one where the creature's holding a guy over his head. Wow. And these are just Heritage magazines here, but they have a lot of they're very interesting. But that's rich people stuff. That's not stuff I can. That's not stuff I should even look at. That's But my friend, he worked hard and had tremendous talent, so he was able to have money for things like that. Um, he passed away. I can't even remember when. Whenever I try to remember when, I associate it with the last time he called me. He left a message, said, well, let's go see this Doctor Strange movie. So whenever the Marvel Doctor Strange movie, that was when Marvel was still making good movies. But we never got to go see it, and he passed away. Just a second. Believe it or not, there used to be books like this in school libraries. I don't remember where I got this book. Witches, Witches, Witches. $3.50. Looks like I got it at half price books based on the little penciled price there. When did this come out? 1958. How about that, ladies and gentlemen? What is that? Oh. Hold on. Yeah, I took some books upstairs and brought some down. Let's go through these. This is Haunted Thrills. Well, this has various issues, different pre-code horror comics. When the Comics Code of Authority came in 1955, it kind of neutered comics from showing the really excessive torture and violence. But I think at this point, I can't say this with 100% authority, but I think almost every pre-code horror comic has been reprinted in some way where you can get it in a relatively cheap way compared to actually buying the original, which, if you're doing it in the 60s and 70s, you might have been able to amass a wonderful collection of these pre-code horror. But if you're doing it now, well, I salute you. You know, there's nothing, but you're clearly well off, and it might be better to save your money, because you just never know what's going to happen, because there are forces that do not like what Trump is doing, and they're going to try to do something to try to dethrone him or make sure that they stay in power, and I just you never can tell what they could do. So, and it might happen sooner rather than later. It might be better to hold on to your money instead of buying these. But buying something like this isn't that expensive. Now these are this is from this first edition, May 2023. This is printed in Great Britain, PS Art Books. They're imported. For a while, Half Price Books had tons of these books for less than $10 because they just got all these unsold ones. They had whole end cap at the local stores that I went to back in Texas. But anyway, I think just about every pre-code horror comic's been reprinted. And see, these PS Art Book people are reprinting it with the original ads and everything. So it's, you know, this is fantastic. I don't know why I don't have more of these. I love this ad. Fat folks, your dream has come true. How to lose ugly fat without dieting - hunger. You can get your own smoking cowboy doll. Yeah, I just wanted to move these down to be with the other comics. Careless Corpse. I got this one, I'm pretty sure, from Kevin Johnson at Gotham City Comics. Set with the closure of Diamond Distributors it's harder for him to get, you know, these hardcover editions of this. They were the ones that were less than $10 at Half Price Books. This one, reprints Ghostly Weird. Now I actually have that. I bought this particular issue that's worth probably about $600 now. I bought it for probably $25 a few decades ago from eBay. I think that's where I got it. So that's one of the few pre-code horror books I have. Now I love this stuff. I should have dozens, if not hundreds of them, but I just never really thought it was something I could collect. So instead I have these reprinted editions, which I think is the way to go, especially if you're a beginning collector. Now this is they would also do these in slip covers. Now, I got this from Half Price Books. If you had the whole run of Forbidden Worlds from ACG, which this isn't a really expensive comic to buy in its original form, but the cool thing, oh, I love the smell of the paper in these books. The thing about this is, look at this. You put it in the slipcase, and on this side, you see that's the D and the T, or no, it's the D and probably part of the W of Forbidden Worlds of the logo. So you would have this on the bookshelf, and it would say Forbidden Worlds across the whole bookshelf if you had all of these. And I think that would be the way to go. I don't know how many they printed of the ones with the slipcase, but that would be spectacular. So that's number 12 of Forbidden Worlds. And then there's a lot of them out there. I have volume 3. Now, the earlier issues of Forbidden Worlds, they're not going to be as easy to find. Drew, is that you back there? You need to go for a walk? Drew, let's go for a walk. You want to go for a walk? We're going to take the dog for a walk, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, this is fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Drew, we're going on a walk. Let me move all this stuff, man. These, damn it, what was that? Oh, my glasses. These are my little hats from when I lived in Germany when I was like 5 years old. I have little German hiking hats or whatever. I guess they sold them as souvenirs. Okay. These are my sunglasses. Oh, and my glasses. These aren't going to work any after Monday. My eye will have will be supposedly basically fixed, so I won't be able to really wear these. But they're not really good right now anyway. The sunglasses work, but they don't. The prescription no longer works. What is all this garbage up here? Why do I have a ruler here? Oh, it's a little promotional ruler from some business from the 50s here and locally. Means absolutely nothing unless... is that a cat behind me? What is that behind me? Is that a cat? Yes, it is. Look at that. Is that incredible or what? I'm trying to make the background look more presentable here. Oh boy. I'm about to show you some more stuff, but let's get up here, man. I think something disastrous may have just happened. Oh boy. What time is it? The time is now 8 o'clock in the morning. Saturday, December 6th, 1941. A date which will live in almost infamy. Now, tomorrow's the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. How about that? I'll be right back. Drew, let's see. Do you want to go on a walk? Let's go on a voyage. Oh, sorry there. We're going on a journey to the center of the earth. We're going on a voyage to the bottom of the sea, man. We're going beneath the planet of the apes. Drew, come on. You want to go beneath the planet of the apes? Come on, girl. Getting too fat for this shirt. All right, man. It's time to explore. Drew, let's take the camera off the tripod. We don't need no stinking tripod. Okay. Let's see what nature has wrought out here. It's maybe gonna snow a little later today. It's gonna, I think, be above freezing part of the day, so some of this might melt away a little bit. Okay. Come on, Drew. Hold on, Drew. This is a little flick here. Oh, yes. And so we've returned. Okay, amazing. Well, let's resume with regular programming here on the Grottu Orloff Inspirational Network. Put you back in the tripod. We've only been going for an hour and 6 minutes, really? That seems like an eternity. Just kidding. Okay. Charlton66 recommended these shoes for my plantar fasciitis. That's why I'm walking around like Frankenstein with this, they're called Hoka. My wife got me 2 pairs, and then she got me these house shoes that had the same principle. This is called UFOs. UFOs. I guess I don't know how they come up with weird names for this stuff. But anyway, they're shoes I can wear around the house that also give me that support to try to help me walk more like a human again. So she's helping me out. She's really on my case about breaking my diet, which I'm doing way too much. Wasn't I drinking a Dr. Pepper at the beginning of this show? That kind of crap. Just stupid stuff that I keep doing that I need to stick to just unsweetened iced tea, but just keep slipping, man. Dr. Pepper keeps on slipping into my belly. Yeah. I haven't done any parodies of Steve Miller or the Electric Light Orchestra yet on Suno.com. I've been doing a lot of 50s doo-wop lately. That'll be in my next thrilling installment of my radio show that very few people watch. But I highly recommend that you watch it, because where else are you going to hear songs about the haunted tank and the unknown soldier and even Sugar and Spike? Oh, the other books that I was going to show you, they're still on the elevator. Let me get them. Oh, shit. Pardon me. Shoot. Remember, everyone, to start your day with a song and sing the whole day through. Even while you're busy working, do just like the birdies do. Though the day may be long, you never can go wrong. Off key, on key, any old key, just start the day with a song. Here's another Forbidden Worlds, reprinting these issues. Volume 2, November 1952. So these are pre-code, but I don't think the ACG people, did they go pretty far with the, maybe they did. The Forbidden Worlds books that I have in my collection are mainly, 60s. Yeah, I guess everybody was a little extreme before the code came along. Amazing. Here's Dark Mysteries. Again, these are all courtesy of wonderful people in England. You see, we don't appreciate our culture. Well, we do, you and I, but most Americans don't really like old stuff. They like new stuff. And but over in Europe, they appreciate our old stuff. They appreciate our old music, our rockabilly, our doo-wop. They Japan, England, France. That's they they love what the United States used to be. But what we are now is not what we were then. We're just a bunch of people that scroll through their phone all the time. And don't marry a dead one. That's good advice, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dark Mysteries. Looks like these were in. That was Volume 2. This is Volume 1 of Dark Mysteries. Most of these I got from half-price books because they just got dozens and dozens of them. And it was like, man, I've got to get them all. Now I realize the supply is dried up. So I guess eBay or Amazon are the places to get these now. What is going on? Oh, a cat's behind me. How about that? So perhaps I should be filling in the holes in my collection before these morons that start speculating on these pre-code horror books start to buy these up once they realize they can't afford to buy the originals. This has always amused me. Chamber of Chills is a pre-code horror comic from Harvey. And, Harvey's known for Casper the Friendly Ghost and Hot Stuff and Richie Rich. But back in the early 50s, they were putting out these grisly horror comics. So, fantastic. And here's Chamber of Chills. This reprints the Chamber of Chills with this cover that was used on a Misfits record. And so that's this is one of the most sought after pre-code horror comics because it's comic book people and people into music, have the. But Garzan the Magnificent. This must be, how are they going to turn Tarzan into a. Now this, he's going to get killed at the end. This really has the feeling of pulp paper. This, you can tell this has been shot from original existing comics. It looks like you're looking at an old comic. It really does. Yeah. So this is okay. So what's weird is the hardcover books and the softcover books don't. There's crossovers. Like that story with the rat eating the guy's feet, that's in both these books, but there's some stuff that's in both and some that isn't. So you really need to collect either the hardcover ones or the softcover ones. Otherwise, you're going to have weird. It's not the same stuff, and I don't know. It tells you on the side it collects issues 16 through 20. Now, if you were to buy issues 16 through 20, well, this one is worth, this might be worth $20,000. I have no idea. It's one of those really expensive comics. Maybe it's not that much, but it's expensive. I mean, once they get over a couple $100, it's just all the same to me. It's all unreachable by mere mortals. But, just knowing this is the company that would later give you Casper is But you know, all those Harvey comics that we grew up with, or at least maybe I did. I don't know if you did, but they all had you had a you had a ghost that wanted to be friendly, and you had a witch that wanted to be friendly, and you had a spooky who's kind of more content. Let's call him a poltergeist that didn't really want to be friendly. He was kind of an a-hole, but he was all right. And then you had a dead horse that flew around, and you had a giant, so it's a Nephilim, and you had a little baby demon, devil kid that kind of was nice, and you had a rich kid that could do anything, buy anything. You had a girl that was obsessed with dots, and had just that the whole comic was about her having dots on everything. And then you had a girl obsessed with food, little Lotta. Who am I forgetting? Little Audrey. Well, she didn't really seem to have any weird OCD problem. She was mainly just a regular girl that was kind of mischievous. Who am I leaving out in the Harvey universe? Man, I don't know. I think that, oh, Sad Sack. Well, I don't really consider Sad Sack. Yeah, it was in Harvey Comics, but that goes back to World War II. That's a whole different thing. Yeah, how about that? Well, this lady comes into Kevin's store, Gotham City Comics in Mesa, Arizona, yesterday with all these comics. He said it was a bunch of Weird War and DC War comics, and some beat up funny animal, like Gold Key kind of funny animal from the 60s, 70s, and but a lot of war comics and a lot of DC horror comics. They weren't in the best of condition. And Kevin kind of showed her. Oh, she had a couple of 60s, like Tales to Astonish. And she said they were her mom's. But, and I thought, man, I just told Kevin, man, it must have been a cool mom to be, but what kind of little girl buys Weird War? And she said, well, it was her father's, who passed away, and then the mother wound up with the comics, and now the girl's trying to sell them. So he gave her a really fair price, and he explained this. You know, she had one book that was, I forget what it was, but it was a pretty valuable book, and he showed her what it was worth, like probably $40 retail. And she said, well, I'm going to go shop around to a couple more stores. That seems like a fair offer, but hopefully she'll bring them back, because I don't think the other stores hopefully will offer more. So if they come back, Kevin's got some big, if you live there locally in Arizona, he's got some big outdoor activity going on at his store today. Some big sale, bunch of vendors out back. Man, I wish I lived in Mesa, Arizona sometimes, just so I could go in that store. But excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Oh, I'm looking for books I can pull. This isn't a comic book related book, Hamburger Heaven. Although I would consider hamburgers, I associate places, hamburger stands and hot dogs with jukeboxes, which is rock and roll and doo-wop, and I consider rock and roll right in there with comic books, and it's all, to me, one big tapestry of teenage fun from a time period before I was around, although I still was able to see the last vestiges of this era growing up in the 70s. Oh man, he was a real slob when he started. That's not a good look to have. That's maybe a little too much there, big boy. This is a good book. I'm just going to move it upstairs with the... Yeah. I keep doing the Hodge twins thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys watch the Hodge twins? I can't stop. It's like an OCD thing. All I'm doing is going around going, yeah, yeah. And it's like, my wife thought it was funny at first, but after a while, it starts to wear off. Okay. Drew, do you want to go on a walk? Let's go on a walk, Drew. Let's go on a walk. Let's go on a walk. Oh, we're going on a walk, Drew. Drew, let's go on a walk. We got to go on another walk, ladies and gentlemen. I see Drew. Drew's about to wet her pants. So we got to go on another walk. Drew, let's go. Let's go, Drew. Let's go. Oh, my gosh. Come on, Drew. Drew's coming. Yes, indeed. This never happens on the other comic book shows. That people don't have to take their dogs for a walk. What is it with this show? Why is it so unprofessional? I got to check this lottery ticket. My wife likes to get. She says, "Get a lottery ticket." And I said, "What is?" That's just a way that they tax the poor people, man. You'd never win. I mean, once she won like $60 or something. So that's just to tantalize you, to get you to keep doing it. But yeah, she wanted. I gotta see. Maybe we become rich this time. I'll test that a little bit. I gotta go get kitty litter as soon as I finish this historic broadcast. Come on, Drew. Oh, it's the cat instead, man. I want Drew, man. Don't take cats out for a walk. Drew the dog. We got to go outside, man. Come on, man. Andale. Yeah. How you doing, Drew? Come on, let's go. Let's go, man. Come on. Well, come on, let's go, little dog. Come on, Drew. Drew the dog, you've got some treats here. You want to go outside? Hey, let's go outside, man. Let's go outside. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. She didn't want to go outside. Drew, let's go outside. Come on. I'm going out here, man. It's so great out here. Come on, Drew. Come on, Drew. Why are you the only dog in the world that doesn't want to go outside on a walk? Maybe it was kind of cold the first time, huh? That could be it. Oh my gosh. You ready to go outside, Drew?
Well, it's Sunday, November 30th, 2023. The last day of November. We've got some.
Let's see. Put on my radio show as background noise. Come on, Drew. It's time to walk. Okay, well, let me know. Would you call me, please, if you need to go outside, Drew? Because she looked like she was about to do something naughty on the carpet. Now she's going over there. No, she isn't. She's going over here. Oh, I don't know. Are you wanting to go on a walk now, Drew? Oh my gosh. You gotta make up your mind, man. Okay, you wanna go now? Let's go. Okay, now she wants to go. This is the weirdest shit. Just like a woman, man. Gotta make up their mind. Yeah. Come on, Drew. We gotta go. Come on, this way. Right down there is where I do my radio show. Come on, Drew. She wants to go back in now. No! Looked like the cat was gonna run outside. All right.
Johnny Paycheck for 1969 here on the Grottu Orloff Show. The last day of Johnny Wick win.
Okay, back to the books. Okay, what were we talking about? Hamburger stands, possibly? Put you back in the tripod. This is an old sign that my brother used to have in his dorm room in the 70s from Roth Plex. They used to sell these kind of things in drugstores, in like card shops. I don't know that I should have that image like right there. Put it somewhere else over here. It's kind of a negative image to be promulgating. Okay. He also had a statue of a hand shooting the finger, which I thought was kind of naughty. I didn't really. I was kind of shocked and appalled by it as a fifth grader. I guess I was kind of a prude, but all these things you would get at these novelty gag shops, the forefathers of places like Spencer's, but they were a lot cooler places back in the 70s. Okay, I got to get my next books. Yeah, the reason these pre-code horror books, though, something kind of horrifying about the imagery that you don't get in horror books today, you know, like that face. Because these were being drawn by young guys in the early 50s that were the young guys 10 years before that were fighting in Europe and in Asia, World War II. And they saw a lot of this real stuff. So they say, well, draw a dead zombie, you know, and it's like, okay, I know what dead people look like. So they made it kind of horrifying as an ad for Sad Sack. So Harvey was doing Sad Sack way back into the pre-code days. Look at this stuff. Just fantastic. The Bride of the Crab. Some of these are giving me song titles so I can create new songs for my radio show. The Swamp Monster. I just don't know why I haven't sought out more of these. For the last few years, it's been kind of, whenever I try to read, I immediately fall asleep. So, and I think now I realize that my wife says, you never want to go outside after, I can't see after dark. And now I look up and, oh, well, cataracts cause you to not be able to, well, I knew about the nighttime vision, but as far as why is it I constantly fall asleep? And it pisses her off. We're trying to watch a movie and I keep nodding off. And it's like, she's constantly looking over at me to see if I'm awake and I can't help it. This is a whole book reprinting Cave Girl. So it's just artwork by Bob Powell. It's this PS Art Books company, man. They're just great. Now they're doing also reprints. They do facsimiles that are actually like a single issue comic. And I've got one coming to me probably in a few days from Kevin. I still have a maybe one more on hold of the PS Art Books facsimiles. And then there's not going to be any more since Diamond's not up. I wish someone would step up and create some, I don't know. There's just no way for people to distribute their stuff to stores. These are just really well done. This is Black Cat Mystery, which is also from Harvey. Yeah. Yeah, I guess Harvey did Chamber of Chills, Witch's Tales, Tomb of Terror, and Black Cat Mystery. Here's another one of those. This is Black Cat Mystery #1, the hardcover version. But it's got a slipcase, and you can see that the slipcase, you can tell, is going to be the image of that guy with the uranium that's causing the bottom part of his face to melt. And this image would go all the way across your bookshelf with Black Cat Mystery logo there. I wonder if you could get the whole set on eBay and instead of having to hunt and find each one, or at least maybe there's photographs on, if I look on the internet, maybe I can find a picture of someone that has the whole shelf. I really want to see what that looks like. But Black Cat Mystery, well, there was this character, the Black Cat, that Harvey put out, and in the 90s they brought her back and started reprinting old Black Cat stories, and but I think that, you know, her comic switched over and became a horror comic when horror comics became really popular, is what happened. I have a couple of these Black Cat comics from Harvey, coverless though, and But everyone was trying to imitate EC, and some people did the imitation job better. Oh, you need to go, whatever your local comic store is, I'm going to give you a heads up. Mad switched over the magazine format around 55, right? And then the first Mad imitator, as well, there were tons of color comic imitators of Mad when Mad was a color comic. But when Mad switched over to a magazine, the first company to imitate the black and white format was Marvel, or Atlas as it was called at the time. And they put out a magazine called Snafu. And the Fantagraphics people are putting out a book reprinting all 3 issues of Snafu. And the production design art was done by Marie Severin. John Severin did art for it. A bunch of great artists. And I've seen some copies of Snafu. He used to have a guest that came on the show and showed his issues of. He had every humor comic magazine ever published in his collection, and Snafu really stands out as a well done magazine. In the first issue, there's even a photograph of Betty Page in it. But it's a Stan Lee written thing. I guess he wrote most of it, and it's coming out in January, and your store will need to get in the pre-orders like almost immediately. So call up your store, go to your store and say, "I'll get me a copy of Snafu," which is a World War II term. And there used to be a cartoon that was made for GIs that wasn't really meant for kids to watch, called Private Snafu. And I think whenever I heard the word snafu in old cartoons, because it was all GIs, soldiers in World War II, knew the term snafu, and it was always they always would say it's situation normal, all fouled up, but in reality it was the other F word, the FU. It was situation normal, all effed up was what the way that the GIs said it, but they cleaned it up a little bit when they came back after the war. But that's what it's like sad sack. The expression was, "You're a sad sack of shit." So when the Sad Sack comic strip was being published in Stars and Stripes, the military newspaper, and it was called Sad Sack, everybody that's read it knew sad sack of shit. It was, but so that comic was published for decades and decades as a kid's comic, and those in the know that were in World War II knew, well, that gave them an extra little bit of humor, knowing what that really meant. Look at this. They give you the corpse right there on the splash page. You don't have to wait till the last couple of panels to see the zombie. Just good stuff, man. Good stuff indeed. And here's Beware. January 1953 through January of 54, issues 1 through 7, a whole year of Beware. This is volume 1. It's just really well done, the way they put these books together. And then it's like having a bound set of these comics. Now, this one is done on slick paper. Some of them they do on slick paper, and some of them they do on more paper stock, so it feels like you're oh, Gotham City just sent me a little picture. It looks like it's an image of Vampira's head. Maybe one of the artists at his store has drawn a picture of Vampira. I'll call him up when I'm done with this show and see what's going on. Since I record this with my phone, whenever pop-ups happen, news stories, or someone's sending me a text message, it pops up on the side of my phone here. Okay, let me see what else I could do to move stuff around here. I can't even see, man. Boy Scout Encyclopedia. I don't know where I came up got this book, but let's take that upstairs too. The Team Guide to Homemaking. This is from, what would you say, about 1966, 65? Copyright 61 and 67. This looks like this could have been a textbook for a home ec class, home economics. Stuff about cooking, and this is this is what life was like before cell phones and texting and TikTok, before the dark times, before TikTok. What is this? MK Ultra and CIA. This is some graphic novel. I haven't read it yet, but it's not really drawn that well. But I just wanted to read it. It's probably a piece of crap. Oh, what is this? Oh, another PS art book. It's Ghost Rider. Not the Ghost Rider of the 1970s, but this amazing Ghost Rider. That's a Frank Frazetta cover. I always thought, I loved the art, but I always thought, this is early Frank Frazetta, that his legs should be bigger. Kirby would, it's almost like his legs are, the top part of his body is big, so it seems like these legs should be coming out at you, Kirby style 3D kind of popping off the page, but it looks like they're going back into the distance and the feet are tiny, but that's something that probably would have driven Frank Frazetta crazy. He would stare at it for his painting. A lot of his classic paintings that we know he's from old covers of Creepy, Eerie, whatever. He's altered, or Conan. He's gone back and he went back and altered them and changed them up because he just couldn't stand. He wanted to fix them, and so now they don't look like they did when they were first published. But anyway, just fantastic art in this. This is another PS art book. What is this? Oh, this is a graphic novel about Catwoman, and reason I own it is I really love this artist. It has a great look where they're making it like you're watching a early 70s kind of exploitation movie, but story and art, Darwin Cook. He's one of those great artists that just we lost way too soon. This is the kind of art I like. Darwin Cook and Dave Stevens, these artists, for some reason, they just didn't make it. But they shined brightly while they were with us. This was a great, let's see, is it appropriate? No, it isn't. This is The Mercenary. This I think I first saw in heavy metal. This guy on this flying dragon, and he rescues this girl, but the problem is probably can't show too much of this. Yeah, no, not really. Yeah, no. It just, I'd say scantily clad, but no, it's just completely, that would that wouldn't be accurate. It's just he's rescuing this lady that doesn't have any clothes on, so that's why I'm not showing that to you. Okay, but it's okay. Some books about women cartoonists put out by Trina Robbins. We lost her a couple of years ago. Trina Robbins is the one that designed the Vampirella costume, but she's going through the history of women and so Fran Hopper worked for Fiction House. I've never heard of her before just this second. I didn't know there were female artists working for Fiction House. But a lot of times female cartoonists or comic artists they're different than the way men draw. They have a and it's there's Trots and Bonnie that used to be a National Lampoon. Uh, but there's got to be a section on Marie Severin. She was one of my favorites, and of course Ramona Fraden. That seems like that's concentrating more on newspaper strip artists, and then this is an older book, Women in the Comics. But I think this is more about female characters in the comics than it is about female comic artists. Yeah, this is more about women in comics like Sheena, that. So it's not exactly related to the other book next to it. What is this? Thor or Godstorm. Oh, Steve Rude is another one of those artists that he's great. And when he does Marvel stuff, it's like I just can only imagine if Steve Rude had worked for Marvel. He did some Spider-Man and Thor, just very, very little. Mainly he did his own character. But there's just something about it that the best of Kirby is there, but he brings something new to it. He's not just slavishly imitating Kirby like Ron Friends can. Ron Friends is like a really good Elvis impersonator, like a really good one. It's like, man, it's almost like I'm right there back in 1955, 56 watching Elvis. Ron Friends could really make it look like Kirby. But this is more like someone influenced by Elvis, but then they bring something new to it, and then it's no longer an Elvis impersonation act or a Kirby impersonation act. It's something entirely new and wonderful, because everybody's influenced by previous, this AI. They say, well, the Suno should be sued, and because they basically they fed every song ever written, every song on the internet into their computers, and then the computers figured out what works and how songs are created and what different songs and instruments sounded like in different time periods. And then you can put in requests. You want your song to sound like this, and here are the words I want, and then it spits a song back at you almost immediately that sounds, it's original, but it's influenced by whatever music that's gone before. And people say that's wrong, but all musicians, they listen to records, they have influences, and they take from those influences and they create something new. But Electric Light Orchestra, you can hear the Beatles there, but it's not a Beatles imitation, but you can certainly hear it. And you can see all these people that imitated Elvis, and what did the Beatles imitate? Chuck Berry and Little Richard, and they had all their influences, and then they created something new. But the Beach Boys created something new, but there's a heck of a lot of Chuck Berry there. I mean, Surfing USA, I mean, they just changed the words, basically. Okay, what am I doing here? Okay. Oh, this is a common book. You used to be able to find this everywhere. Maybe it's not common anymore. The Golden Age of Comic Books by Richard O'Brien. That is not the same Richard O'Brien from Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is just covers. So really, if you found a beat up copy of this, you could just, if you found a really beat up copy, just take it apart, and it's like a poster book. I'm sure a lot of people did that. I'm sure a lot of people turned this into, they put these pages into frames, because there's not even really anything on the back. It's really meant to be that's really what this is meant to do. I can't even speak clearly this morning. I'm just wonder how long after I have this surgery before I can do a show. I don't know. Could I do one right away? I don't have any idea. It's all a mystery to me. I guess by now, Dr. Silverage has had all of his both eyes done, so maybe he's going to be on in a minute live on TV. Maybe he'll talk about how it is. The oddly compelling art of Dennis Kitchen. He's an underground artist, a great artist. But I got to make sure as I flip through it that everything's okay, because as an underground artist, there very easily could be inappropriate images in here. Yeah, these hippie underground artists were. Well, Dennis Kitchen, this is his third wife here. He met her at the Dallas Fantasy Fair comic convention I used to go in 1992. In fact, I was at that fantasy fair. She was a Nashville model and country western singer. I guess he was married to her until he passed away. Huh. How about that? That's a book I want to read. So, what do we got here? Oh, Our Artists at War. This is from Tomorrow's Publishing. They put out so many great books, but there's so many you can't get them all, and they're all great. Like Monster Mash. I'm pretty sure I have that book. I've got to have that book. But this is all about DC war comics. No, it's all the war comics. It's got Charlton in here, everything. Enemy Ace. I've done a bunch of music about Enemy Ace on Suno.com. Nice. I think, well, this was sent to me. Look at this. Michael H. Price, he was someone I knew back in Texas. He was the film critic for the Forward Star Telegram. And he would always work in references to obscure old horror movies and stuff into reviews. Like, he might be reviewing some Tom Hanks movie, and it's like, elements of this reminded me of Blood Feast from Herschel Gordon Lewis. It is like, whoa, I'm reading it and it's like, man, this guy is such a nerd. Why is he talking about Blood Feast in a review for a movie that's going to be watched by normal people? But he would do that kind of thing. And when I met him, he was in bluegrass band, or one of those bands, like R. Crumb was in, doing the same thing, that old jug band music, whatever. And he wrote a comic that I never read called The Prowler, that was put out by some independent company. But he put this book together, and this was sent to me as a present from Charlton 66. Yes, indeed. Hold on a second. I'll be right back. Well, it's 9 o'clock, so I'm waiting for the Dr. Silver Age show to start. Maybe we'll talk about how the cataract surgery went that he had. Okay. More of these PS art books, Adventures into the Unknown. I remember these were there were 3D movies were real popular in theaters, or they were a fad. So they tried to create this illusion that the comics panels were popping out at you without having you put on 3D glasses in this title. So they would have black and white they'd have black backgrounds, and then the images would go past the borders of the panel and create the illusion it was 3D. So you have the water splashing out. Oh, here comes the little crazy kitten. It's here. It's Charlotte, also known as Charlie the cat. Everybody's hanging out, man. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is a book reprinting Jack Davis stories from EC Comics. Man, I don't think it'll just start automatically. I think I'll have to redo the, I don't know. Ugh. Okay. Next is Volume 3 of Adventures into the Unknown, reprinting these books. Okay, kitten. People want to see you, man. Here he is. She is. How dare you? How dare you hold me, man? What's going on, man? You watched her grow up here on this channel. I was bottle feeding her not too long ago. Now she's off the bottle. Oh, the show's starting over there. Doing the Sesame Street countdown over there. Oh, shit. Let me move some of these books down. This reprints the Harvey Kurtzman Goodman Beaver, which when Little Orph, that's the cat moving the tripod. When little Annie Fanny started in Hugh Hefner's magazine, it was just Goodman Beaver turned into a girl. But this is Will Elder art and Harvey Kurtzman writing. So this needs to go down here with my Mad stuff. That would make sense. And then this book reprinting the entire run of Humbug magazine, which was Mad turned into a magazine, and Harvey Kurtzman was really the father of Mad, and but he left and formed and started this magazine Humbug, and then Hugh Hefner gave him money to do a really slick humor magazine called Trump, and then James Warren gave him money to do Help, but he was never able to rebottle the lightning that was Mad. And then ultimately he just wound up staying with Hugh Hefner over at Playboy, doing a little Annie Fanny for what seems like decades, which I guess paid the bills and gave him retirement and paid for medical expenses and everything. So he was comfortable, so he stayed there instead of trying to just keep starting new magazines that didn't work out. Let me go over there and see if he's talking about his cataract surgery. See if he's still wearing his glasses.
And I gotta tell you, I know it doesn't look it on the screen right there, but this past week I made a lot of headway down here as far as getting things organized. I've got a whole bunch more floor space with which to move around and get things going. So I've got like, I don't know,
I think what he's got on are readers to read close up, so he may not be wearing his old glasses.
I'm down to,
I could ask him in the comments, but I can't do that because I'm filming a show. Okay, we'll turn him up a little bit so we can hear him over here.
those 17 boxes I still got to go through those.
Okay, I'm going to take a few books upstairs. I guess Shannon's not there this week. It's just him doing the show. We're in the luxurious elevator here, going up to the 47th floor. Grabbing some more of these. Charlotte, you shouldn't be in this elevator. Okay, this is a good number more. I'll turn that light off. am starting to become, I did several years ago, I was in Guinness Book of World Records as the fattest man on YouTube, and then I started losing weight. I may be able to make it again for the 2026, unless I start doing something about this gigantic fat gut, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What is the ideal length for a YouTube video? What would you guys like me to... am I doing too long of videos? What are you guys thinking? Okay, Tomb of Terror. Yeah. Okay, let's do these. Oh, they always make him sing at the beginning of the show. This was a little ad I clipped out of the Fort Worth Star Telegram, and I blew it up giant size. And I guess they were trying to make it look like the Rocky Horror Picture Show, because that was a cult movie. Blood Feast Marathon, gore galore with 5 bloody hits: Nightmare in Blood, Blood Orgy, Blood Eaters, Invasion of the Blood Farmers, and Bloodthirsty Butchers. Need to hang this up. How about that? All right. I'm missing funny stuff happening in the other room. That's always the way it is. Okay. The next one alphabetically is the Heap. Oh, let's get you back over here closer. He was the original swamp creature. Every comic company had their own swamp creature, but in the early the 70s was when you had Man Thing and Swamp Thing that started almost the same month. It's kind of like X-Men and Doom Patrol. It's kind of arguable, But anyway, the Heap was 50s, I guess maybe late 40s swamp monster. It was an air boy. Then we have Nightmare. Just curious when this was printed. 2017. An old friend of mine that I've known since 1977 got back in touch with me. I haven't talked with him since the early days of the COVID-19 fad. And man, that was really nice to talk with him last night. Out of Night. Oh my gosh, he's throwing this. Look at that, he's throwing it right into this woman. My goodness, she must be a vampire. Out of the Shadows. I always have these great. Oh man. That looks like last week Thanksgiving dinner there. Okay, I gotta move some of these books here. What is that? Oh. Trash Man Lives. Now, I don't know if you know about the incredible Spain Rodriguez, an underground artist. This book, that reprints the Trash Man stories, I think came out about 1989. There's a reason these stories are earlier than that, but the reason I thought this, just look at that artwork. This is real art. Oh, some of these pictures I can't show you, but this is. Let me see if I can. The look of the world of Trash Man. Okay, it's not going to make sense unless I can find a good example. Possibly here. Look at the way the cars look. They look futuristic and yet, vintage. It's this cat wants to mess up my glasses. It has they have a mid-century look and a futuristic look at the same time. And when the 1989 Batman movie came out, I thought, oh, okay, the Batmobile. It looks like they're trying to make it look like one of Spain Rodriguez's. It's just it's the world of comic books, but vomited forth by just incredible. That's why I love underground comics. But yeah, this is great stuff. Fantastic. Fantastic indeed. Okay, that goes here. What is this? Oh, I see. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Okay, and then out of the shadows, gradually moving these books down and moving other books upstairs. This is out of the. I don't know if I just showed you or not. This book here is this has one of the most disturbing pictures I've ever seen in my life in it. It's about Little Bighorn, the Battle of Little Bighorn, and it shows the history before the battle, and it's got a picture of a guy that's been killed by the Native American, the Indians, and they, oof, yeah, I couldn't show this to you. It's from the Kansas State Historical Society. It says, typical example of Indian revenge, Sergeant Frederick Williams, spelled Wyllywams. Maybe you could do a Google search and find it. Company G, 7th U.S. Cavalry, was one of 7 killed near Pond Creek Station, several miles from Fort Wallace, on June 26, 1867. Scalped twice, brained, throat cut, heart cut out, and body slashed. He was completely stripped of clothing. So it's basically the guy's laying there naked. He's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 arrows in him. It looks like they've cut all the skin off of his forearm. He's got all kinds of stab marks. He's been cut open in the middle. I guess that's how they took his heart out. And so basically they brained means they scalped him and they just bashed his brains out. So it's, I can't show you the picture, but it's like you see that and it's like, good gosh. My gosh. Okay.
In fact, I think I know I have some of the Lone Ranger ones on DVD. I think those are the 60s, not the 70s, where they kind of put Tarzan and Lone Ranger together kind of thing. He also says the next full stop on Saturday's superhero cartoon programming for me.
Whew. Man, I don't know what to do next. I still got some books on the elevator. I guess I need to fix those. Is there room back here? I'm gonna move this book. It's The Private Files of the Shadow. Dennis O'Neil and Mike Kaluta, but I don't think this is reprints. I may be wrong. Let me see here.
Later on, I remember watching a few episodes of the Fantastic Four, which had Herbie the Robot.
Yeah, it's reprints. For some reason, I thought maybe these were new stories that were done after the series was canceled. No, this reprints the issues that were done that were illustrated by Mike Kaluta. They had some issues that were done by that were drawn by Frank Robbins. So anyway, this is when DC tried to bring back the Shadow in the early 70s, and it was really a spectacular comic. And they also they tried to do Justice Incorporated, and Marvel did Doc Savage. There was just a lot of revival in the 1930s, interest in 1930s kind of pulp stuff and in that time period. Okay, so hold on. So this is what it's looking like now that I'm moving everything. It's another issue of another volume of Out of This World. Again, I got it half price books. So no, that was Out of the Shadows. Now that's Out of This World. And then I've got Planet Comics, but this is a slipcover that would probably look spectacular if you had all the volumes of Planet Comics. Man, this is volume 14. That means they reprinted a lot of them. And I dearly love Fiction House. I've got to figure out how to get more. Oh, this is it's like, well, this isn't underground because this was done in the 80s from Fantagraphics. So it's sort of underground, but I think they called this New Wave Comics. But it's the same basic principle. Like these Action Comics parodies. This is, yeah, I think this is 80s. Has to be 80s. Come on, man. Don't make me a liar. I can't. No idea. It's from the past. Here's Planet Comics, one of their softcover ones. Look at that. Except this was from Fiction House, and they're advertising a character from Fawcett. That's kind of different. It's an ad for 1948 Football magazine. And they were wearing leather helmets. Fantastic. Okay, and then Atom Age Combat really should be at. This is reprints different titles, but it all has to do with atomic war. I guess I would put that at the beginning. Over here, after Adventures into the Unknown. And then Skeleton Hand. Do I have room on the shelf for one more? Maybe. Oh, let's look inside. This one's not on slick paper. Anyway, these are all just great. It's just hard to believe all this exists out there, and most people don't know it because this was, I mean, this is just, like I said, people in England that care about our culture far more than we do. And when you get these great compilations of old rockabilly and stuff, it's going to probably come from Germany or France. Very rarely is it going to come from our own country. I mean, there are people here that appreciate it, but maybe this is a little too tight. Let's pull out Atom Age Combat and put that somewhere else. These books are just too tightly packed here. Yeah, give them some room to breathe. Okay, so I'm going to need to make some room on another shelf for these ones coming up. You got Tomb of Terror and Startling Terror and Spook Suspense Mystery. And I don't know. I grow wary of this, though, this morning. I've got some other stuff to do. I'll tell you what. Let's continue this endeavor later, maybe later this afternoon, and maybe we'll get to see a Christmas parade too. I don't know. So.
Are what people in England came to call jelly babies, and what Reagan kept in a jar on his desk, mainly jelly beans. I did not know that. Is that really what cool beans stands for? All I know is that my wife got me saying it because she always heard it. So I picked it up from her. Missing Mars, Philip, how you doing, man? He says, happy Saturday, everyone.
I guess I'll sign off and I'll be back probably way before you'd want to see me again. Take care.